all alone? You do understand. Luck.
Hello, I'm Luminousz Star, and welcome to the Luminousz Star channel. All of you who are my current subscribers, thank you so much for your subscription. Thank you for keeping me motivated. And of course, thank you for inspiring me to keep this channel Luminousz Star active. All of you who are visiting, welcome to Luminousz Star. Hopefully you will come back again, but as a new subscriber, join the Star family by hitting that subscription button below. We would love to have you. Today's video, narcissists expect others to clean up their mess. I'm going to be going over a few points and a few tools. Mind the description box below for further details. Also, if you would not mind, like and share the video. First point, due to having a distorted view of relationships, narcissists tend to use emotional manipulation to get others to supply him or her without regards as to how they may be affected. So narcissists and cluster B personalities, when it's about the relationship, it's really not about the relationship. It's about the narcissist. It's about the cluster B personality. They just use the relationship in order to get source supply, just like they tend to use others to get source supply. So due to having a distorted view of relationships, the narcissist and the cluster B personality, they do use emotional manipulation. Think about it. If they really told people who they really are and what they really represent, the narcissist and the cluster B personality would not be successful at getting anyone to be around him or her. So they have to use emotional manipulation. This is not to say that I condone or advocate for that type of dysfunctional behavior. I'm just pointing out how the narcissist and the cluster B personality have to use emotional manipulation in order to get people to be around him or her. Otherwise, no one would be around him or her. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, they don't care anything about the aftermath. They don't ponder the aftermath of their dysfunctional behavior. They don't care how they tend to really affect others. They really care about the source supply. They're loyal to their false self-image. So on one hand, yes, they do, or to a certain extent, they do care about how they affect others, because they want to sit back and say, yeah, look how I affected that person. This is how they also get the source supply. So when they don't give any regards as to how they affect others, it's not for the reasons that a lot of us may think. They don't ponder it because they only care about the source supply. On the other hand, they do like how they influence and affect other people to give them the source supply. All right, let's move forward. The relationship is all about the narcissist and how he or she can milk the dysfunction for what it's worth. Narcissists and cluster B personalities do not see themselves as part of the dysfunction within his or her relationships. So it's everybody else's fault instead of the narcissist's fault. The cluster B personality and the narcissist, they think it's everybody else's fault, and they tend to play the blaming game. And if you choose to play the blaming game with him or her, then they are supplied once again. The relationship is about the narcissist, and they look at the dysfunction of the relationship for all it is worth, and they milk it for what it's worth. They never see themselves as part of the problem. So their behavior, which is quite dysfunctional, okay, it can be toxic even. They don't see themselves in that equation. It's always somebody else's fault. The narcissist will cause dysfunction in the relationship, or they will influence toxicity in the relationship, yet they don't see how they play into it. So even though the narcissist and the cluster B personality has a dysfunctional way of looking at the relationship, they don't tend to see themselves as a part of the problem. So they have a very twisted and tainted way of looking at relationships. And again, they will milk the dysfunction for all it is worth. On one hand, they will influence all types of shenanigans, all types of dysfunction in the relationship, yet they will not take responsibility or blame for any of it. All the while blaming other people and not ever taking responsibility for how they contribute to the dysfunctional relationship. They fail to realize that it is their personality disorder that influences his or her dysfunctional behavior. He or she doesn't understand why others wish to be connected, loved, and respected within their relationship. So the narcissist in the cluster B personality doesn't understand why others around him or her really want the connection. They really desire to be respected and loved in the relationship. Matter of fact, the narcissist in the cluster B personality, they don't understand why other people or how other people can love. How can they have the connection? How can they even want to be respected, yet alone respect others, or to love others, or to even connect to others? The narcissist in the cluster B personality, they think that we have it all wrong. We, as in the rest of us who do not have a cluster B personality or a narcissistic personality. Believe it or not, the narcissist and the cluster B personality, they think that we have it wrong. Those of us who do desire the connection, those of us who do have the capacity to connect and to love and to feel empathy and all those other great attributes that makes a person a human being, okay? They don't get it. They don't understand. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, they have decided, they have vowed not to love. They have detached from that part of themselves that will feel love and empathy for others. So in a sense, they have snipped off or they have tweaked their own humanity. I am not suggesting that they are not human. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, they are human. Some people will debate that. I get it. I'm only sharing that the cluster B personality and narcissist, due to their vow to not love, they have also single-handedly detached from that part of themselves that will enable them, like a human being, to love and to feel empathy for others. This is a natural thing that human beings do. However, when a person decides to detach from that part of him or herself, they then operate from fear, and they also operate from a lower vibrational frequency. Yet, they can still be human. They've only tweaked off a part, or they have cut off a part of their humanity. Okay? So they do fail to realize their personality disorder is part of the problem. That influences their dysfunctional behavior, and they fail to see it. So the narcissist and the cluster B personality, they don't understand how the rest of us are the way we are. In other words, naturally, it comes to us to desire the connection, to connect to other people, and to do what is necessary to have a healthy relationship. Narcissists and cluster B personalities, they just don't get it. They look at us like we have three heads. Okay? They don't understand us. Investing in relationships with others is such a tedious task to narcissists and those who have a cluster B personality. Yet they are overly dependent upon others for source supply, fuel, and a strong sense of control. So this is what's interesting to me anyway about the narcissist and the cluster B personality. And that is they are overly dependent upon others for source supply and all the other things they want to try to extract from others. Okay? They are overly dependent, which is a sign of codependency. You will never get a narcissist or cluster B personality to see this. So don't waste your time. So when they invest in relationships with us, it is only to get the source supply. Pardon me. It is number one, to get the source supply. Number two, to keep the false self-image relevant and not necessarily in that order. When they invest in relationships with us, or those who don't have a cluster B personality and those who don't have a narcissistic personality, the narcissist is only in for themselves. If I were to invest in a relationship with a narcissist or a cluster B personality, my reason for investing in the dysfunctional relationship with him or her would be very different from why they invest in the dysfunctional relationship with me. So they do make it about themselves. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, they don't really think about the other person that they're involved with. And this is not just a romantic situation, but we can include that. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, they always circle it back around to them. So they milk the dysfunctional relationship for what it is worth. At the same time, they make sure they only focus on their false self-image. Narcissists and cluster B personalities tend to be repulsed by any signs of love, intimacy, and boundaries in relationships. They seem to just want their sources of supply to get with the program of keeping his or her false self-image intact without any protest. The cluster B personality and the narcissist, they're going to milk that dysfunctional relationship for what it is worth. They are repulsed by any signs of intimacy and boundaries and love. Okay, they're not for that. They have vowed not to love. They have detached from that part of themselves that will enable him or her to feel love and to express empathy for others and to feel empathy for others. They've detached from that. So when they see other people who are genuine, and when they see other people having intimate relationships, this is repulsive to the narcissist. They want nothing of it. They only want the source supply. When they are sought after to be loved, to have intimacy, they are repulsed. This is why narcissists and cluster B personalities, when it comes to the romantic relationships and the sexual relationships, he or she tends to so-called punish people who really do love and care for him or her. I know that sounds twisted, but some of you already have experienced this. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, they are truly repulsed by any signs of real love, intimacy, and boundaries, because all of that sums up to stability and balance in life. These are the things out of many that the narcissist and cluster B personality is totally against, due to the fact that they have detached from that part of themselves that feels empathy and sympathy for others, or would feel empathy and sympathy for others. They have vowed not to love. So anything representing that, they're going to be repulsed by it. Again, this is why when people show that they really do love and care for the narcissist usually likes to punish him or her. They tend to up the ante on being mischievous, on behaving in a dysfunctional manner, and mistreating others. They tend to turn the volume up on that. As soon as they know or they have sniffed out that they are truly loved and cared for. I know, again, that may sound twisted, but all we have to do is do the research, and some of us only have to look at our past relationships to know this is true. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, they just want other people to get with the program and keeping his or her false self-image intact without protest. The narcissist and the cluster B personality does not like to be challenged. They don't want to be questioned about their dysfunctional behavior or when they behave badly. They just want people to line up, get with the program, and keeping their false self-image intact while they get the source supply. Sounds very unrealistic to me. Unrealistic expectations of narcissists and cluster B personality. Extreme loyalty. No questions. no protest, to be worshiped, compliance, constant availability, to be the center of the source supplier's lives, self-sacrificing. Others are to be non-threatening. Others are to be non-challenging, to blindly forgive all offenses, take full responsibility for their mistakes. All right, I want to go right to that last one. Take full responsibility for their mistakes. So the narcissist and the cluster B personality, they have an unrealistic expectation of not only you taking full responsibility for your mistakes in the relationship, but you are to take full responsibility for theirs. That sounds unrealistic. The cluster B personality and the narcissist also expects others to worship him or her. In other words, only see them as a God sent. I will say this. Some narcissists and cluster B personalities, they like the negative attention. So if you don't worship them like they're the greatest God ever, they don't mind. Actually, some of them prefer it. If you fear them like they're the worst devil you have ever came across, he or she will justify. Okay? They will justify what they have done, how they have treated others. They're not going to see themselves as an issue. They're going to look at others as having the problem, even though others may have visible signs of having been traumatized. The narcissist will still look at them and say, well, it's their fault. This is also why a lot of people have a very tough time thriving past the dysfunctional relationship with a narcissist, because the narcissist does not see himself or herself as part of the issue. Okay, so they expect extreme loyalty and everything else, and at the same time, they will not take responsibility for how and what they have contributed to others. First tool, keep a journal. Second tool, build a support base. Third and final tool, discontinue complying to the unrealistic expectations of the narcissist and or cluster B personality. That last tool, I think, is the highlightable tool. Discontinue complying, because as long as a person continues to comply, that to the narcissist means that they agree to any and everything the narcissist chooses to unleash in their lives. That may sound harsh, but really think about that. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, they're only loyal to their false self-image. They only want the source supply. So if a person complies to that, then there you go. The narcissist is going to see that as, oh, okay, this person, okay, they're going along with all of the shenanigans. They're going along with all of the tactics for source supply. They think that I'm the greatest. They think that I'm the best. And you know what? They're right. See, when the narcissist is not challenged, then the narcissist will proceed with all of the shenanigans. They will proceed without guilt, without remorse, all of the tactics for source supply. Because really, when a person complies to the narcissist, that means that they are absolutely attempting to fulfill all of their unrealistic expectations. The narcissist has no intentions of having a healthy relationship with anyone. They only want the source supply. They're only loyal to the false self-image. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, when they are in relationships with others, they truly think that they are the God sent to everybody else's life. I know that might sound wild, but just think about it for a minute. The narcissist and the cluster B personality thinks that they do no wrong. They don't make any mistakes, and they're not part of the problem. So what do you get when you get a person like that? You get a person who is extremely self-centered, and they really do think and feel that they are a God sent to everybody that they're involved with. In other words, nobody is like them. They're irreplaceable, and they are the best, no matter how dysfunctional their behavior is. So when you look at all of that, and when you look at how a person complies to that, it is no wonder that the relationship never gets better when they're involved with the narcissist. Because the narcissist looks at the actions of the person who's complying as an agreement. Okay, so the narcissist may say something like, okay, so you agree with attempting to please me no matter what. You're extremely loyal to me, as you should be. Now, the narcissist might say something like that. To everyone else, it may look like this person is being impossible. Well, to the narcissist, they don't agree. The other thing that the narcissist tends to do is they tend to viciously defend and justify their dysfunctional behavior, regardless of the outcome or the aftermath. Some people, they can have a whole line of people. The narcissist and the cluster B personality can be standing in front of hundreds of people that they have really caused some grievances. The narcissist will look around at every face and say to them, you were very lucky that I was in your life. That sounds very unreasonable. That sounds very twisted. But this is what the narcissist and the cluster B personality is like. However, when we picture that in our minds, that gives us a good idea of what it is like to be in a relationship with him or her. So keeping a journal and building a support base will be very important, simply because you need that outside support base. You need that outside interaction. When a person is spending too much time with a narcissist and cluster B personality and they're isolating, things can turn very badly or sour very quickly. So keeping a journal and building a support base will be very good, simply because they need an outlet. Simply because a person will need an outlet. There's going to be a lot of tension in that relationship with the narcissist. There's going to be a lot of emotions that are very unpleasant. So a person needs a constructive outlet for all of that. If they're only permitting themselves to interact with the narcissist and the cluster B personality, that relationship that's already dysfunctional can actually turn more sour very quickly. So keep a journal and build a support base. Keeping the journal will help you to focus on exactly what you need in order to thrive forward, such as the support base. I recommend having the support base and having the journal, because both of them can give you a very clear perspective on what you need in order to thrive forward. All right, having said all that, let's move on to the references and resources. You will find these in the description box below. I found a little chart here that I think some of you will find very interesting. These are the red flags of manipulation. For instance, your words are used against you. Okay, that's one of the red flags of manipulation. They make you question your own sanity. That's like the gaslighting techniques that the narcissist and the cluster B personality like to do for source supply. Another one, they are trying to isolate you. So when the narcissist tries to isolate you, again, I just mentioned, they're really trying to get you to only focus on him or her in order to get the supply from you. When you only interact with the narcissist and cluster B personality, it's not going to turn out very well. So again, these are the red flags of manipulation. Please check this out in the description box below. Actually, the link to this chart is the last link right here. Look in the description box below for the references and resources. I'm Luminousz Star. I want to thank everybody for joining me today or tonight. I wish you the very best. My stars who are sharing your stories, I want to encourage you to continue to share your stories. You never know who you will influence and absolutely motivate to thrive forward. We're thriving forward together this 2018. So keep sharing your stories. Stay tuned for more videos.